Right now, you're sitting there frustrated and questioning everything. You're looking at your life, your struggles, and wondering why things aren't working out the way you hoped. You've been putting in the effort, grinding every day, pushing yourself, yet success still feels out of reach. And because of that, doubt begins to creep in. You start questioning yourself, your abilities, and worst of all, you begin to question whether God has a plan for you at all. But here's the truth that most people fail to realize. God is fully aware of what He's doing. The reason you don't have what you want right now is simple. You're not ready for it yet. That's a tough pill to swallow because your ego wants to believe you're already prepared for success, that you should have it today. But that's what separates those who win from those who fall short. The ones who achieve greatness understand that the struggle isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Think about it. You've seen people win the lottery only to go broke within a year. You've seen guys make quick money in crypto, flash their wealth for a few months and then disappear. Why does that happen? Because they received success before they were ready for it. They never built the discipline, the wisdom, or the mental toughness needed to keep it. Success that comes too easily slips away just as fast. And that's why God won't hand you something you're not equipped to handle, because He doesn't want your blessings to turn into burdens. That's why you're still facing difficulties. That's why your breakthrough hasn't come yet. If it were given to you now, you wouldn't be able to sustain it. Be honest. If millions suddenly landed in your bank account today, would you truly know how to manage it? You might think you would, but in reality, you'd make the wrong choices, trust the wrong people, waste money on things that don't matter, and in the end, you'd end up worse than before. This is why God makes you wait. This is why He puts you through hardships. You need to be strong enough to handle the future He has planned for you. Warriors don't step onto the battlefield without training. Soldiers endure brutal preparation before they're sent into combat. Without discipline, they would crumble under pressure. And right now, you're in training. Every challenge, every setback, every time you feel like you're stuck, it's all part of the process that's shaping you into the person you need to become. But the reality is that most people fail this test. They lose patience. They start blaming God. They complain, why is this happening to me? Instead of recognizing that their struggles are designed to strengthen them. They resist the process instead of embracing it, and as a result, they remain stuck. That's why most people never reach their full potential, because they don't have the patience or the faith to trust in the timing of their journey. You need to understand this. If you don't have what you want yet, it's because you're still being molded. And if you decide to quit now, you won't just lose the reward, you'll lose the transformation that comes with it. Because true success isn't just about acquiring wealth, power, or recognition. It's about developing the character, resilience, and wisdom to sustain it. The road to success is painful. It will push you beyond your limits. It will expose your weaknesses, force you to confront your fears, and make you question everything about yourself. And that's exactly why it's necessary. Because when you come out on the other side, you won't just achieve success. You'll become someone who cannot be broken. But that only happens if you refuse to give up. Most people don't want to endure that process. They want instant results. They look for shortcuts, hoping success will just fall into their lap without putting in the years of dedication, the sacrifice, and the discipline it takes to truly earn it. But that's not how God operates. He doesn't reward those who lack patience. He doesn't hand out success to people who won't appreciate or protect it. He blesses those who put in the work, those who trust the journey, and those who prove they can handle the responsibility that comes with success. Ask yourself, do you truly believe you're ready for the life you're asking for? Have you genuinely done the work to deserve it, or are you simply chasing the idea of success without building the foundation to support it? Because here's the reality. The waiting isn't a punishment. The delay isn't a denial. It's a setup for something greater. God isn't holding you back. He's strengthening you. He's testing your patience, your discipline, and your ability to persevere. He wants to see if you'll give up when things get difficult, or if you'll keep pushing forward, even when nothing seems to be going your way. And this is the point where most people fail. The moment obstacles arise, they convince themselves that their dreams are impossible. They assume success wasn't meant for them, so they stop trying. They give up just before their breakthrough. That's the greatest trick of all, allowing fear and doubt to convince you to quit right before everything was about to fall into place. Most people fall for it. They listen to that voice in their head telling them to settle, to accept mediocrity, to walk away from the very thing they were meant to achieve. But not you, not this time. This time you're going to stay focused. You're going to trust the process. You're going to push forward, knowing that every hardship, every failure, every painful moment is preparing you for something bigger. Because if you can't handle the struggle, you don't deserve the success. If you aren't willing to embrace the journey, you'll never reach the destination. And when you finally get there, when everything aligns and you achieve what you've been working for, you'll look back and understand why it had to happen this way. You'll realize that the setbacks, the frustration, the long nights of doubt, they were all necessary. They were molding you into the person you needed to become. God knew exactly what he was doing all along. The only question is, do you have the strength to trust him? Because the moment you fully commit, when you stop questioning and start embracing the process, your entire life will change. Have you ever considered that everything you're going through right now is exactly what you need? That the obstacles, the delays, the challenges, they're all part of God's plan to make you unstoppable. But instead of trusting him, instead of embracing the challenge, you sit there filled with doubt, questioning why things are so difficult. Let me tell you something. When you start questioning the process, you start losing. You allow fear to take over. You convince yourself that success isn't meant for you, that maybe you should settle for something less. But that's the biggest lie of all. God isn't punishing you, he's preparing you. He's building your patience, your endurance, and your strength. Because weak men don't win. Weak men collapse under pressure. Weak men try to take shortcuts and end up losing everything. You see it all the time. Someone gets lucky, makes some fast money, and within a year they're broke again. They thought they were ready. They thought they had it figured out, but life humbled them because they never truly earned it. That's why the process exists. That's why God is making you wait, because when your moment comes, he doesn't just want you to reach success, he wants you to keep it. But if you give up now, if you decide that the journey is too hard, you'll never experience what was meant for you. Most people don't have the patience to endure. They want the rewards without the sacrifice. They want the victory without the battle. But the truth is, there's no easy path to greatness. If you force success before you're ready, it will destroy you. And that's why you're still being tested. Not because you're being denied, but because you're being prepared. If you walk away now, if you quit because the road is taking longer than expected, then you were never meant for it in the first place. The struggle is a gift. The wait is a blessing. Every challenge is shaping you into the person you're meant to become. God knows what he's doing. The only question is, will you trust him? Right now, you are being shaped into a man who can handle success when it arrives. If you refuse to break, if you refuse to let challenges push you away, then you are becoming something unstoppable, and that is exactly what God wants you to be. The question is, what are you going to do? Will you be just another person who quits, makes excuses, and lets emotions dictate their actions? Or will you rise above doubt, trust the process, and step into the future that God has already prepared for you? The choice is yours. This is the point where the weak fall and the strong rise. This is where God tests what you are truly made of. At this moment, you have a decision to make. Will you trust God's plan for you, or will you allow fear, doubt, and impatience to steal your future? The truth is, God does not need you to fully understand the process. He needs you to trust it. You may think you've been waiting too long. You may believe the struggle is unfair, that the pain is unnecessary, but God knows exactly what he is doing. He knows the trials you must endure to become the person you were meant to be. He understands the lessons you need to learn. He knows the weaknesses that must be removed from your character, and he alone knows the perfect moment to give you what you have been praying for. The only thing standing between you and success is you. Your doubt, your impatience, your inability to recognize that the delay is not a punishment but a blessing. Every second you spend wondering, why isn't this happening yet, is a second you could be using to become the man who is ready for it. Consider this. If success were handed to you right now, would you truly be able to handle it? Could you bear the weight of the responsibility, the discipline, and the constant pressure that comes with it? Most people think they are ready, but they are not. They lack control over their emotions, their habits, and their discipline. That is why God makes you wait. That is why he tests you. He puts you through the fire so that when success comes, you will not crumble under it. Look at history. Some of the greatest men endured long periods of struggle before stepping into their destiny. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he was ready to lead. Joseph was sold into slavery and imprisoned before he became second in command of Egypt. Even David, anointed as a future king in his youth, had to endure years of hardship before he ever sat on the throne. Why? Because God never places an unprepared man in a position of power. If you are still in the struggle, if you are still waiting, it is because God is still preparing you. The only way you can lose is if you give up too soon. If you let frustration convince you that the process isn't working. If you let your emotions push you to abandon something that is already yours, you just haven't fully grown into it yet. The real test is not whether or not you can handle success. The real test is whether or not you can handle waiting for it. Are you strong enough to keep working when it looks like nothing is happening? Are you disciplined enough to stay focused when doubt is whispering in your ear? Are you faithful enough to keep moving forward when you can't even see the finish line? Because if you can do that, if you can trust the process even when everything seems to be against you, then success is no longer a question of if, it's a matter of when. God sees the full picture while you only see one small part of it. He is never late, he is never wrong. If you have the strength to trust him, to embrace the struggle, and to refuse to quit, then your success is inevitable. The only thing that can hold you back is you. Will you keep doubting, keep resisting, keep letting frustration stop you? Or will you wake up tomorrow and say, God, I trust you. I trust the process, and I will keep going no matter what? Because that is the moment everything changes. That is when the struggle stops being your enemy and becomes your greatest advantage. The people who win in life are not the ones who run from the process. They are the ones who embrace it. If you can do the same, if you can stay committed and trust God's timing, then one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you will look back at everything you have been through and say, now I understand. Success is not about luck, shortcuts, or overnight breakthroughs. It's about endurance, preparation, and faith. If you are in the waiting season of your life, feeling like your hard work is leading nowhere, understand this. Waiting is not wasted time, it's preparation. Every struggle, every setback, every delay is shaping you into a person who can handle the success that's coming. Because the truth is, success isn't just about getting what you want. It's about becoming the kind of person who won't crumble under its weight. You may be frustrated right now, questioning why things haven't fallen into place, why doors seem locked, why your prayers feel unanswered. But let me tell you this, God is not ignoring you. He is refining you. He is strengthening your patience, discipline, and resilience, because what he has planned for you is far greater than what you could imagine. And if he handed it to you too soon, you wouldn't be able to sustain it. Think about it. So many people crave success, yet the moment they get a taste of it, they collapse under the pressure. Why? Because they never built the character to sustain it. They never learned how to manage their emotions, discipline their habits, or stay grounded when everything around them was changing. That's why you're being put through this process, not to break you, but to build you. Look at the greatest leaders, the most impactful individuals in history. None of them arrived at success easily. Moses wandered the wilderness for 40 years before leading his people. Joseph was betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned before rising to power. Even David, anointed as king while still a boy, had to endure battles and betrayals before he sat on the throne. God does not place unprepared men in positions of power. And if you are still in the struggle, if you are still waiting, that means he is still preparing you. The real test is not about whether you can handle success. It's about whether you can handle the waiting. Can you keep working when there's no visible progress? Can you stay disciplined when doubt whispers in your ear? Can you keep your faith when you feel forgotten? These are the moments that define you. These are the moments where the weak give up and the strong rise. Most people fail because they let frustration convince them that nothing is happening. They walk away too soon, not realizing that what they've been praying for was just around the corner. But those who trust the process, those who refuse to quit, are the ones who ultimately win. So ask yourself, are you going to be the person who gives up, who complains about the timing, who lets fear steal what is already meant for them, or are you going to rise above doubt, trust the process, and walk into the future that has already been prepared for you? Because success is not a matter of if, but when. The only thing that can stop you is your own impatience, your own unwillingness to endure the process. And here's the truth, your struggle is not a punishment, it's a blessing in disguise. Every setback is teaching you something. Every delay is protecting you from something you're not ready for yet. Every hardship is strengthening you for the battles that come with success. Because make no mistake, success isn't easy. It comes with responsibility, pressure, and challenges that will test you at every level. If you can't handle waiting, how will you handle winning? If you can't stay faithful in the struggle, how will you stay grounded in the success? The people who win in life don't run from the process. They embrace it. They understand that the fire is refining them, that the struggle is shaping them, that the waiting is strengthening them. So if you can hold on, if you can trust that your delay is not a denial, that your waiting is not in vain, then one day, not today, not tomorrow, but one day, you'll look back at everything you've been through and say, now I understand. But let's take this even further. Success isn't just about you, it's about the impact you make on others. If you are given blessings, wealth, or influence, will you use it for good? Will you lift others up? Will you become the kind of leader who empowers others rather than just serving yourself? That is why this waiting period is so crucial. It is not just about achieving success, it is about preparing your heart for what success truly means. Too many people get what they want and lose themselves in the process. They forget the struggle, they forget humility, they forget to give back. That's why you must be molded into someone who understands that success isn't just about personal gain, it's about responsibility, it's about wisdom, it's about using what you've been given to uplift others, to serve a greater purpose, to walk in alignment with your calling. So if you feel like giving up, don't. If you feel like nothing is happening, trust that something is. Growth is often invisible until suddenly everything falls into place. Keep building yourself, keep working in silence, keep trusting in God's perfect timing, because one day the very thing you're struggling to hold on for will be the thing that changes everything. And when that moment comes, when success finally arrives, you'll be ready because you endured, because you refused to quit, because you allowed the process to shape you instead of breaking you. And that is why you will not just succeed, but you will sustain it. You will rise not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. The choice is yours. Will you keep doubting, keep resisting, keep letting frustration hold you back? Or will you wake up tomorrow and say, I trust the process and I'm going to keep going no matter what? Because the moment you make that decision, when you fully surrender to the journey instead of fighting it, that is the moment everything begins to change. That is the moment the struggle stops being your enemy and starts becoming your greatest advantage. So don't give up. Don't run from the process. If you can trust it, if you can endure it, if you can stay faithful even when it's hard, then success is inevitable. Not because you got lucky, not because things suddenly became easy, but because you became the person who was strong enough to handle it. And when that day comes, you won't just celebrate the victory, you'll celebrate the journey, because you'll know deep down that every moment of struggle was worth it, and that's the kind of success that lasts. But let's talk about what happens after success arrives. Because believe it or not, the journey doesn't end when you achieve your goal. In fact, that's just the beginning. See, too many people think success is the finish line. They think once they get there, they can relax, take their foot off the gas, and enjoy the rewards. And yes, success brings blessings, opportunities, and a sense of fulfillment. But it also brings challenges, expectations, and an entirely new level of responsibility. Winning isn't just about getting to the top, it's about staying there. And staying there requires the same discipline, faith, and work ethic that got you there in the first place. It requires you to keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up with the same hunger and drive that fueled your journey. Because the truth is, success has a way of testing you in ways that struggle never could. Think about it. When you're struggling, you're fighting to survive. You're hungry, you're focused, you have nothing to lose, so you give it everything you've got. But once you succeed, once you've built something, once you have something to protect, that's when the real test begins. Will you become complacent? Will you let comfort make you soft? Will you lose the discipline that got you there, or will you rise even higher, using your success as a foundation rather than a resting place? Look at the greatest champions, the most successful leaders, the people who built legacies that lasted for generations. They never stopped growing. They never settled. They never let success make them lazy. Instead, they used their victories as fuel to push even further, to serve even more, to create even greater impact. And that's what you have to do. Because the moment you let success make you comfortable, you start to decline. The moment you think you've made it and no longer need to put in the work, you lose the edge that got you there. That's why so many people who achieve success end up falling just as fast. They weren't ready for what came after. But you will be different because you didn't take shortcuts. You didn't skip the process. You went through the fire. You built yourself from the ground up, and you developed the discipline, resilience, and character to handle everything that comes with success.